From the Hotel Indigo on Technology Drive along the Mon River, just off the campus of the great University of Pittsburgh, near the Hot Metal Bridge. Welcome to the award-winning Pat Narduzzi Show. I'm Larry Richert with Panthers Chris Bickle, 97 head coach Pat Narduzzi. Coach, good to see you.
Good to see you, Larry. You got a lozenge in your mouth tonight?
I do.
You got a little sore throat. You better get ready for
I'm
Saturday,
ready.
3:30. I don't want to hear about you being sick.
Florida State. No, I'm good. I'm good to go.
Good.
I don't yell as much as you and the coaches. I feel bad for Coach Salem.
Does he yell a lot on
Well,
you?
they interview. He could barely talk. Let's talk about the elephant in the room, and then we'll move on as you have. Obviously, disappointing outcome, Notre Dame. How do you turn the page, and how did your players respond?
Players responded great. It's never easy. Whether you get beat by, 2 or beat by 40. It's a tough week. It's tough to swallow. It's not fun. And I think that's what motivates you the next week when you're kind of angry a little bit and you're not happy with what happened, the outcome, and how you played, how you coached, the whole deal. I mean, we got a lot of work to do, and we got just probably a better football team coming in here at our stadium this weekend.
Yeah, the Florida Seminoles ranked 4th in the nation, and they come to Acrisure 3:30 again on Saturday. But going back, the game at Notre Dame started. The defense was playing at a high level. The offense just couldn't get those turnovers and convert them and sustain drives, and the wheels kind of came off in the second half.
Yeah, our defense definitely started off that game, really good. I mean, the first 2 series interceptions and then a 4th down stop. We bent a little bit on those drives, but not giving up points were critical. Our guys played good, and I think they just, maybe got a little worn out, and then we missed some tackles late. But we got to find a way to score points, and that's on us as coaches to find a way to muster and just get on the scoreboard.
So when you sat down and evaluated and looked play by play, what did you walk away with? Some physical errors. I mean, there seems, you can't. I mean, there's obviously mental errors, and we talk every week about structural but there's mental and physical errors. But way too many physical, missed tackles. On special teams. I mean, we started off the first 7 points they got. Obviously, it was on special teams, but we got him dead to right, and we don't take him down. And he's a good player, give him credit, but we got to make those tackles, and sometimes good players make you miss, but we have to make those plays, whether it's on special teams or on defense. We got to do a better job tackling. Again, we've emphasized it in practice this week, like we do every week, but just even more. It's like when you see it, it's like we got to go more. And our guys have done a great job thudding up. And then offensively, we got to protect the ball. I mean, you're never going to win a game being, turning the ball over. And we've been pretty good, throughout the year. And we've got to be really good this Saturday. And Christian Bayer, how do you keep his confidence up? Because he was, trending well, and then you have an off half, and you end up, maybe questioning yourself. How is his attitude this week?
Yeah, we'll find out at game time, really. But he's been great. He's got confidence. I don't think he's that guy that's looking backwards. I think he's looking forward. And again, we remind his coaches he's still young, and he made some decisions that weren't good. We obviously could have helped him as coaches, but we got a lot of faith in him and what he can do and what he will do here as the future moves on. Not only this weekend, but into the future.
I saw his dad posted that man in the arena. For you men in the arena, it's easy for everybody on the sidelines to judge every little thing that happens, but I think and I feel it for you all, because I know I have a sense of how much work you put into what you do, and the players, each and every day, year-round.
No question about it. The coaches work, but our players work harder. I mean, our players put the physical work in. Coaches put, the work in on film and getting a game plan together and trying to produce points and trying to stop people on defense and those special teams game plans. But there's a lot of work goes into that. But really, the guys that are doing the man in the arena is the players, and those are the guys that are, out there trying to make the plays and produce. Every Saturday's an audition. Always kind of remind them it's an audition. You're auditioning. You're playing for yourself, and you're playing for your team. And you're playing for the University of Pittsburgh. So, we just continue to work and grind, and our kids they got a great attitude.
And you got a lot of young players getting experience.
Too many, but it's a good thing too. I mean, you're looking towards the future. You got a young offensive line. I mean,
you look at Branson and Ryan Bear taking the, and Branson didn't play last week, but taking the, most of the reps at offensive tackle this year. You're young, you got B.J. Williams starting right guard. I don't know how many true freshmen are playing or starting on the offensive line in the country. There can't be more than 2 in the country, and we got one of them. Maybe there's 3, but so and then linebacker, we've been playing. Jordan Bass has been playing a ton. Rasheem Biles is playing a ton. Braylon Lovelace, and it gets a physical game, and it's hard for them to play 50 plays.
Yeah, Jordan Bass was pressed into service on the road at Wake Forest, and a true freshman. Explain for fans, when you talk about a true freshman getting those kind of opportunities, that's a very big deal at this level.
Well, it changed our game plan a little bit at Wake Forest, just what you can do. I mean, we're still adjusting now, whether they're in. Okay, if he's in, what are we calling? I mean, you have to have a different game plan. They can't do everything. So you're
just for one player.
Oh yeah, because just one player. You can't do everything. It might be a different coverage. You can't do that blitz. You can't do that one. So you have to adjust based on that. Because there's nothing worse than having missed assignment and guys not do the right thing.
We'll talk more about the weekend practice and gearing up for Florida State. Great opportunity. The number 4 team in the country comes to Acrisure this weekend. You're listening to the Pat Narduzzi Show, presented by Dollar Energy Fund on the Pitt Panthers Radio Network. And we're at Hotel Indigo, Technology Drive. Somebody asked me, a native Pittsburgher, where is that? Or as we say in Pittsburgh, where's that at? Right. By the way, we have a Hall of Famer among us.
Hall of Famer. How about that? Donna Samp.
Yes, let's hear it, Donna.
Donna Samp.
She's been an amazing contributor to the university and, of course, known for her gymnastics coaching and, I guess at one point, pretty talented athlete too. So good to see you, Donna.
She's been busy this fall. 4 grandsons, watching them, play all their sports, baseball, the whole deal. So she's been busy. So it's great to get her here tonight. And I've got to thank Donna, as I always do, every time I see her for being a part of the hiring process with the Chancellor Gallagher back in the day. That dark evening when I came into the Cathedral Learning, that was a memorable evening I'll never forget. And Donna was awesome.
Well, since you're talking about that, yeah, for your experience, being from Youngstown, this is kind of, we consider the tri-state part of the circle.
When you said where it's at, I always say that. I'm like, geez, this is a Youngstown thing. It's a Pittsburgh thing, too. My wife, would always say, what are you saying at? You can't end a sentence with at. So.
She's right about
She is right.
At. She is right about that. Now, when you came here, what was that process like for you? I mean, we're always asking
the interview process?
Student athletes. I mean, and then when you found out you're going to be the head coach of the University of Pittsburgh.
Whew. Well, first of all, Jerry DiPaolo called me maybe 40 times during the process
the trip.
After the interview, and I was just looking at my phone going, who is this guy? And he'd leave messages and messages. I'm like, this guy's crazy. And we find out he is crazy, but it was incredible. I flew in one evening and took a I guess a ride. I had an alias name. I don't even know what the name was. Donna, do you remember what the name was?
Tony Dorsett.
Yeah, it wasn't
His
Tony.
alias.
But I, had a different name and checked into the Duquesne Club afterwards, and but had the interview at the chancellor's office, and for a couple hours didn't know how it went. Went back, checked in the hotel, flew out the next day, went home, and got a call the next afternoon. So it was pretty quick, and it was amazing.
One of the things you promised was to bring a ACC championship to the university. You've accomplished that, but as you know, as a run of a coach, you have your ups and downs, so how do you handle adversity?
Well, we're going to find out, right? Again, everybody, you look around the country and there's people having up years and down years, and don't need to mention them, but, it's called growing pains, and, you're going to have them. Every coach is going to have to deal with this. Every team, every player is going to have to deal with adversity. We deal with it every day, but, talking about a team and a record that you're not happy about, not used to. But it'll all make us stronger, and we'll learn from the mistakes, and we'll all get better.
It's easy when things don't go your way to start finger pointing.
That's right.
Your team hasn't done that.
No doubt about it. We teach them that a lot. Our guys have been great. Of pointing the thumb. We all can do something better. Including us as coaches, and everybody takes responsibility and some accountability as far as what happened and what we need to do better. And If you don't have that, then you got problems.
You know, I was thinking about how this, in professional football, I saw Miami put up 71 points on Denver. Then weeks later, Denver beats arguably the best team in the NFL, and you go, how does that happen?
Yeah. Hey, you got to be ready every Saturday, that's for sure. And I think anybody can beat anybody, Florida State included. It's a great football team, and any weekend it's up for grabs.
Yeah, and they're coming in here. They have a 14-game winning streak. But you have, over your, 8 seasons now, 9, have been very successful in November. Why do you think that is?
You know what? I don't know. 2023 is a different year. I mean, we've talked about that on Tuesday, our team meeting about November. It's, hey, it's not how you start, it's how you finish. So let's finish this thing strong and rack up some wins.
And when we come back, we're going to talk to defensive end Nate Temple's going to join us. We'll talk about the big man playing Big D for your Pitt Panthers. When we return, you're listening to the Pat Narduzzi Show on the Pitt Panthers Radio Network. And Coach Narduzzi's special guest is Nate Temple, big defensive end, 6'4", 250, give or take at this point in the season. Nate, how you doing?
I'm doing good. Excited to be here.
From Abbeville, South Carolina.
Abbeville, but yes,
Abbeville.
Sir. Yes, sir.
I added an R, didn't I?
Yeah, you did.
Okay.
It's okay. It's okay.
Just testing.
It must be your voice, maybe. You better get right for tomorrow night.
I'm a game time player. When the lights go on, Coach, it's go time. The process to get you, and you told us your hometown's in the middle of nowhere.
Middle of nowhere kid from South Carolina. I was actually had no offers at the point of my life. I was going into my senior year in summer, and I was going to camps, and I was at Georgia football camp, competing my butt off, showing a lot of effort and attitude, and they came by and saw the kid, and they liked me, and they were my first offer, and it worked out for me to end up here, and I'm so grateful and glad to be here and playing for the University of Pittsburgh.
And like Coach, you're the son of a coach in high school football.
Yes, sir. Yeah. Grandfather was a coach, too. My high school field was actually named after him, so a lot of football in my background. I truly love the sport, so yes, sir.
And you have a brother playing college football.
Yeah, he plays out at Arkansas State.
That's pretty special.
Yeah, it's a big thing in my family, I would say.
So what was the experience like coming from such a small town to a big city in the north?
It was a culture shock for sure, coming from high school of 400 kids to a big university out in Pittsburgh was crazy. The experience has been awesome, and it's been amazing.
What attracted you about the University of Pittsburgh?
I'm being honest, Charlie Partridge was a huge play in it. Coming in, just sitting with him that first time and hearing how he was a teacher, not just a coach. He could really teach the game and the aspect and technique, and coming to play for aggressive defense for Coach Narduzzi, and they're not too worried about their guys being too big. They want guys who could go out there and play with effort and blue collar and hard nose. So I felt like it was a good fit for me, and it worked out.
You know Aaron Donald's story here. They said, we came from a local high school, Penn Hills. You're too small to play D1 college football. You're too small to play in the NFL. What is it about Aaron Donald that you see that makes him so successful?
His work ethic. In and out every offseason, I put my money, I'm going to see Aaron Donald in there working his butt off. So his work ethic.
And you guys take big pride to give people an idea, fans an idea of the weightlifting and the training part of what you do through the year.
It never stops. We go home for a little bit. I remember whenever I was on the phone with Coach Narduzzi, whenever I was telling him I was committing or whatever, he told my mom, he was like, good, he'll be with us forever. He ain't really coming home, and we're here. We're working from the day we get here. It's business class to start. You best believe we got to work out that morning.
And Coach's defense, stop the run, be aggressive, and, the D-backs do their job. How did you handle the adversity of not winning on the road last week?
I mean, it sucks when you lose. Losing definitely is never fun, and I think the way you handle with adversity is you set your jaw and you come to work the next day. That's the good thing about football. They preach it to us that we're going to have another opportunity the next week, and we're going to have another opportunity the next day to get better, and that's where we're at with it, man. We're trying to get better, and we're trying to win games, and that's that.
It's really important because it's easy when everything goes your way. You're the man, I'm the man, he's the man. It's in these moments that really shows somebody's character.
Yes, sir. And I'd say everybody in the building has great character, you know. I'd say Christian, his spirits are still positive. You don't hear no talk of, man, the season's over or anything. You know, we've been very good in the November in the past, as y'all said, and we kind of want to finish strong and go on a run, you know. The energy's positive in the locker room.
That said, you have a great challenge, national TV audience again. Florida State comes in here. They got a pretty good quarterback you're supposed to get after.
Yeah, Florida State, man, they look good all over the film, not just a quarterback, man. Their O-line's talented. They got good receivers, tight ends, running back. We're going to have to truly show up and play some good ball.
They got some big receivers, Coach. Really big.
Yeah, 6'4", 6'7". The 6'7" kid's 240 pounds, and I think the transfer from Michigan State's got to be 220. So they're big, and they go up and get the ball. We're going to have to go up and get the ball. Take it.
That's always an incredible challenge because defensive backs physically are faster, but they're not necessarily bigger. I mean, they're not pound for pound. So I always wondered, man, you put them out there one-on-one, that's a big challenge. So that means Nate and the guys got to get to business up front, right?
We'll have to give a little help up there. You know, if they do their job, we got to do ours. They do good coverage. We got to have some pressures and make him move and get on him.
First things you got to do is stop the run, though, because they can run the ball, too. They got a big, athletic offensive line that can run. So you got to stop the run, and we got to make plays on the edge.
Nate, one play at a time. What's your dad say?
Hit and hustle. That's a Tony Temple, a Coach T. He always would tell me, when you go on that field, hit and hustle. Just go. So that's what he tells me, hit and hustle.
How much conversation do you have with your brother?
We talk. I'd say every day. You know, there's not many people who understand what it takes to play college football. You know, a lot of people get to look at it from the outside view, and to have a brother as a family member, one of my closest people to me, to be able to relate to me and talk to me about it is tremendous.
What position does he play?
He's a linebacker. Yeah.
So you guys, at least you're on the same side of the ball.
Yeah, we were both defense guys. Yep.
And I would imagine, in terms of your academics, you've got a degree in communications. What do you want to do post-football?
Post-football, man, believe it or not, I want to get into coaching.
What a shock.
Yeah. Wherever it starts, you know, I probably do want to dabble in college a little bit with playing in college. I think it would be a great experience and opportunity for me later. And then I want to end my career coaching high school ball, being a strength coach.
You probably have some good connections, I'm guessing.
Yeah, some good ones.
All right, we'll have more with Coach Narduzzi's special guest, Nate Temple. Let's hear it for Nate. When we come back, you're listening to the Pat Narduzzi Show, presented by Dollar Energy Fund on the Pitt Panthers Radio Network. And we continue our conversation. Nate Temple, the 50-year senior defensive end for your University of Pittsburgh Panthers. So you're a communications major, but you're working on another degree.
Yes, sir. I'm on a master's program of the School of Education.
So this fits in with future plans.
Yes, to be able to get my foot in the schoolhouse, the education building.
You know, Coach asked you a question off the air. I'm curious, social media. You said Facebook. Tell everybody what you call Facebook.
Well, I knew it was called Facebook, but I said that Facebook's too old for me to understand how to work. Like, I don't really use Facebook because it's like an older generation app.
I love that.
I thought the younger generation was going to it or something now. Is that true or no?
What is it? Snapchat, Instagram?
Snapchat and Instagram, I would say, were my era.
And what about Twitter, which is now Coach X?
Twitter, X.
Twitter, yeah. I'm not a Twitter guy. I don't really fool with Twitter.
No?
Yeah, nah.
So you're on Instagram. So you're still doing social media. So you're not.
Just Instagram. Instagram's
Just.
not bad. Yeah.
You know, as a player, you got to keep away from that stuff, right?
Yeah. Don't let it affect you. Keep your head clean.
All right. So what do you do to relax in between athletics and academics?
I got a French bulldog named Hendrix.
Hendrix.
Hey, Hendrix, speaking of Hendrix was a problem his freshman year because he did the bridge under Forbes. Just reminded me.
I was sick, Coach.
Probably
I
the
was
only
hometown
probably
sick.
he was sick. Coach, he had a dog. He's not allowed to have a dog in the bridge on Forbes. Okay, he's a problem.
Me and Doozy
so
had
that's
a
the
rough
only
start
problem.
for this.
They were homesick.
It just reminded me of that. I forgot all about it.
I
You didn't
know.
bring up
That's
the
why I
game.
haven't said anything.
You know, but Hendricks was a problem. I was mad at Nate for a while bringing his dog in there. Like, what are you doing? We got this brand new dorm apartment for you guys to live in, and he's got a dog in there.
So how's Hendricks?
He's great, man. He is. He's my buddy. You know, I hang out with him all the time. I'll sneak him in, watch film. He'll sit there and lay at my feet while I'm watching film.
Really?
Yeah, man.
Why don't you bring him to my office?
Yeah, I was scared. I didn't know. You know, you and Hendricks didn't get off to the best start. So
That's tremendous.
You got to bring Hendricks in my office one day.
Okay,
I like
yeah.
dogs. You're
He's
just not
the
allowed.
best.
I'm just going by
He's
the
the
rules.
best.
I'm
Yeah.
just going by the rules.
But as you get, to the point where you're a big time senior, you're walking tall. You could tell Coach. Tell him.
yeah, I'll bring him by. I'll come let him say hello. Yeah, he's the best.
Do you have a dog at home?
Oh yeah.
What's your dog's name? Touchdown or something?
No. It's not my dog. It's the kid's dog.
I understand.
I have nothing to do with it. I don't get to name it.
What type of dog is
It's a Shih-Tzu.
A sheep.
So it's a little poodle. It's a little tiny little white poodle named Marnie. Okay, and it's crazy. I think the dog's crazy. So it's wild. So maybe it does have some of me in it. I don't know.
So you got Hendricks, and who are your guys? Who do you spend your most of your time with?
Well, I'm an old head, like you said. I'm a fifth year, so a lot of the guys I came in when they all left. But now on the team, I hang out with Brandon George a lot. That's my roommate, Mike linebacker, and then Bam Brahma, the other DN, Sam Okanola, the young freshman, Dayon Hayes. A bunch of us, all of us hang out, and then over there we call it Child Street. A bunch of us all go over there and hang out with Jake Cradle, all the offensive linemen. They all live over there. So
I love how you call yourself old head and look out into. You're the youngest guy here.
yeah. But I guess in football terms, I'm kind of the old head now.
No, I got you. So let's talk about focus on the game. When you play, I understand every player usually has a routine. Mm-hmm. You've got a music routine, don't you?
Yeah, a little something. Listen to something here and there.
Okay. You want to reveal?
Oh yeah, man. Me and Bam are roommates. You know, we came in together. We're thick and thin, and when we wake up in the morning, we like to have good music on, get a good little energy in the room. So we'll listen to Dancing in the Moonlight, maybe Why Can't We Be Friends, Joker. We don't listen to the typical music. We throw on some old school and get in a good mood.
Coach, you and I knew every song he mentioned.
Yeah, no doubt
Yeah,
about it.
that's what we
This
listen to.
is a breakthrough.
Game day morning.
That's kind of cool, actually.
Yeah, it
Those
is.
songs are so old, they're new
Yeah, they're good.
to you, right?
Yeah, they're great.
Well, it's been great to get to know you. Good luck against the Seminoles.
Thank you.
Great opportunity for you guys.
Yes,
May
sir.
I remind you,
100%.
last time there was a fourth-ranked team at Acrisure Stadium for the Panthers. There was a quarterback named Kenny Pickett, and he ended up in that team really upsetting their season. So I hope that's what you're able to do against FSU.
I appreciate that. Thank y'all for having me.
Let's hear it for Nate Temple. When we come back, your quarterback, Pat Bostic, will join us. This is the Pat Narduzzi Show, presented by Dollar Energy Fund on the Pitt Panthers Radio Network. And it's time to welcome in former Pitt quarterback and Senior Associate Athletic Director of Major Gifts, University of Pittsburgh. Let's hear it for Pat Bostic. Patrick, good to see you.
You recognize Donna, right? You got
Oh, yeah.
Donna Sam shouted out good.
Yes, we
We got
did.
Donna here. I feel so comfortable that Donna's here. I feel like I'm, back in my playing days.
Yeah, you've
pretty
been
much just told
associated
me-
with the University of Pittsburgh. How many years, Donna? 41. How do you like it so far? It's good.
Athlete, coach, administrator. She's done it all.
Part of the whole, look at the construction that's going on. For those who haven't been back at homecoming, some of those players and people that came back went to the Pete, and then they were like, oh my God, it's a transformation going on right there.
Yeah, it made it getting down here pretty difficult tonight. There's a
that
lot
right?
going on. There's a basketball game tonight, so
Really?
yeah, exhibition. The Mountain Cats from Pitt Johnstown are in town.
I'm gonna have to text coach. Didn't know that.
Coach Capel and Panthers getting ready for their season. And Patrick, big opportunity for Pitt. Obviously, last week didn't turn out the way anybody wanted. As a former player, and you're kind of a quasi-coach, tough to see
Yeah, it's
players
tough.
go through that in the coaching staff.
Yeah, you got to flush it though and move forward. And 4 games left, so you got to make of it what you can and go play well. And that's the only thing you can control. Obviously, both teams, Notre Dame and now Florida State, are excellent teams. They're very talented. Florida State's really talented. But, nothing dwelling on that is not going to help. But you got to focus on what you can do and playing better football. And there's a lot in that game last Saturday that was more had to do with Pitt than it did Notre Dame. Give them credit. They're a very good team. They did some things, obviously, on both sides of the ball and special teams that were spectacular. But you got to focus on what you can control and how you play and let the rest take care of itself.
By the way, after this weekend for fans, only one more home game on the road in New York City with the 100th anniversary of the meeting with Syracuse Orange in Yankee Stadium. I've been there for a game.
Yeah.
Coach, that was a really unique environment when you played in the Pinstripe Bowl up there.
It really was. I remember that grass being slippery as could be. So, it was frozen, slippery, icy.
A little earlier in the year.
But what a
this
great
year.
atmosphere. It'll be nice in November. We're focused on Florida State, though.
Yeah, but I'm just mentioning for the fans, next opportunity and the last one will be Boston College Thursday night. Then on the road, closing out at Duke. So ticket sales for Saturday are going very well.
Yeah, I mean, we've got in the 50s and, climbing. So it could be a beautiful day, 58 degrees, I think, at kickoff, 3:30. Should be awesome. Get a quality opponent in here and, give them all you got. And I think it's an exciting opportunity for sure.
Haven't seen Florida State here for quite a while.
2013 was the first ACC game. They had a guy named Jameis Winston. They happened to win a national championship that year. They were. I remember Pitt scored first. I think Manessa Garner caught a touchdown from Tom
Look at
Savage.
you.
Yeah. You know who else broke out in that game? Tyler Boyd.
Is that right?
He had a heck of a game last weekend for Cincinnati. He's playing at a really high level.
You know who started at running back his first game?
James
Conner.
Conner. Yeah, there was a lot of guys that were just puppies in that game, and
That was my first game.
there were some dogs for Florida State. Now they had some players, and obviously they won a national championship that season. But yeah, I remember that. It was a long time ago. That's 10 years ago now. It's crazy.
It's hard to believe. And Mike Norvell, you know very well, Coach. He's in his 4th season. You beat up on him 3 years ago down in Tallahassee. I would say, did I say Tallahassee? Yeah.
Yeah, you're right.
You're right.
We
I'm
were.
thinking-
Remember where we were? We were doing the games remote.
Yeah, you didn't get to go.
It
Because
was awful.
I mean,
I never want to
what people forget about that game is we were a play away from going down. What was it, 14-3 at one point?
Right.
And then rallied and scored how many unanswered, EJ? A lot. Brandon Hill with the pick 6, and that was his debut. That's a long time ago, though. I mean, that's
Jordan Travis played in that game, too.
He did.
Well,
So
I
did a
think
couple
there was
other.
4 quarterbacks in that game.
So
We
did
knocked
That's right.
Travis Jordan out, but the first run, he had an 80-yard run
Oh, yeah.
on a counter play and took it to the house.
could
like,
go.
Oh, my gosh.
But you ended up, they were kind of rebuilding their team, but they had the makings. Well, Jordan Travis being probably the key.
Well, you think about where he was, back in 2020 and where he is now.
Right.
The experience and what he's done has made him a lot better.
When we come back, the scouting report on Florida State.
I think you overhyped this, Larry, but I appreciate it.
I'm trying to lift you up, partner.
You always do. You always do.
When we come back, you're listening to Pat Narduzzi Show presented by Dollar Energy Fund on the Pitt Panthers Radio Network. Saturday, 3:30 at Acrisure Stadium, Pitt and the 4th-ranked Florida Seminoles. Should be a great matchup. I know there's going to be a big fan base there, and the Panther Pit, always want to give them a shout-out. They've showed up all year, Coach.
They really have. Can't wait to see him Saturday. Beautiful day, 58, sunny. Should be great to get him out there.
They don't need those blue ponchos like they had against
Louisville.
Louisville. Although they might want to wear them for good luck. Maybe we'll get that going.
Here's what you need to know about the Florida Seminoles, brought to you by PNC Bank. Make today the day. Patrick,
Where do you want me to start?
what's their weakness?
I'm not sure they have one, and that's a compliment. I mean, they're really talented. They can run the football. Travis is a part of that. Although, I mean, again, I think he's more of a passer than he was his first year for sure. I mean,
I kind of thought they would run him less, but he's running a lot more than you think. He's got there's not a lot of quarterback counters like they did in the past, but there's a lot of zone read keeps, and he's more dangerous when they just let him drop back and pass. He doesn't like it. He just takes off, and he can make everybody miss.
yeah, and they got some creatures outside, and Coleman, and Wilson's been banged up, but he's a big dude, and get him back. They're in the hunt for the playoff. Obviously,
Is he back, Pat?
I don't know. Do you know? You
I
probably
thought
know.
the scouting report you would know.
Well, I mean, he's on my chart. He's shaded out, which means he did not play last week. So we'll find out at game time. You won't be able to miss him in pregame warmups though. At 6'7". So they got some specimen outside. They're good up front. Got a lot of transfers. They've done a really good job in the portal, obviously, and use that to their advantage. And defensively, they're fast. They're really fast, but. Again, to beat a team like that, you can't beat yourself first, and that's been a problem the past couple of weeks. Unfortunately, that led to a couple losses in a row that don't make you feel real good. So an opportunity Saturday to play football, which all these guys love playing football. So you relish this chance.
Coach, that whole transfer portal and NIL that's changed the game. Literally, it makes coaching that much more challenging.
It really is. I mean, it's going to be, it comes down to who's got the most money. I mean, they're buying players out there. I mean, that's what they're doing. And you can get them if you have the money to pay for them. And you can go get them from wherever you want to. So it's the new age of NCAA football.
Then you see Deion Sanders, what he did. How many players did he dismiss? It's part of a big controversy because he started out of the gate. They're winning all these games, and suddenly it don't look so good.
Yeah, well, I mean, again, it's a long season, and still you've got to build a program, and I think it can be supplemental. Obviously, there was a massive changeover there. It reminded me a little bit of what Johnny Majors was able to do in the early '70s here when he brought 100 unlimited scholarships at the time. So unlimited scholarships, and he brought in 125 players to fall camp, new players.
But they were all freshmen. They weren't juniors, seniors, sophomores.
Right, no, right. So this is all, the portal, obviously NIL, and not supposed to be used for inducement. Is it being used for inducement? Probably. It's complicated. The marketplace is different, and it's different for each school in terms of how you use it and what's going to be effective for you. Because at the end of the day, Coach is right. I mean, it is a resource battle, but you've got to find your edge and your inch anywhere you can. And so you're just going to see. Sometimes you're going to see better, more talented teams. But I've seen less talented teams beat more talented teams too. It's happened here in Pittsburgh. So it's difficult. It's hard, but it's the game, and you got to play it.
A lot of that has to do with each player's attitude, and that's where they've got to believe and not be pointing fingers.
No doubt about it. Our guys believe, and they will play hard for sure. I thought, what happened to you guys went into name, image, and likeness. What happened to the scouting report? I'm waiting for a scouting report.
I just said they're really good. I mean, they're really good.
He didn't really get into
He didn't
depth.
get into it.
Yeah, well, they can do whatever they want offensively. They could go triple option, but they spread you out. I mean, they put you on an island. They make you defend the entire field, and defensively they're multiple. And I'm sure they're going to come after Christian. There was a heavy blitz percentage for Notre Dame, and I'm sure they're going to do it again. To him, and he does a nice job at times getting the ball out of his hand. It's a matter of trusting what he sees pre-snap and confirming it at the snap of the ball, that's what the case is, and then going with the football where it needs to go and throwing an accurate ball. So huge opportunity again for him, and another big stage on national TV.
You've had to adjust your offensive line. Just about every game it's been a different lineup, which is a big challenge.
It's a gigantic challenge when you want to try to run the football and you don't have continuity up front with who those guys are and working together and knowing that guy that's next to you that's going to take over that block, or just the communication's different. Who communicates better. It's a challenge every week, just trying to get out there and make sure we know what we're doing.
I'll tell you, Terrence Enos, for his first start being in Notre Dame Stadium, did some nice things. I mean, obviously it's a massive challenge going against that defense, but a huge building block for him developmentally.
No doubt about it. I mean, you got through a game with him, and then he can learn from that. And I think all those young guys are learning on the job. It's on the job training.
Baptism by fire, right?
I'd like to have a little scrimmage there, but there's no scrimmages.
I was just going to say, baptism by fire, but every player wants to play, And when they get that chance, I mean, that's a big stage.
Yeah, I mean, this program is not accustomed to, obviously, over the last, 8.5, 8 3/4, or 2/3, whatever it is, seasons, not accustomed to losing games like that, obviously. And there are a lot of young players out there. This is formative for them. They're going to remember what that feels like, and what it feels like to go into a stadium against a really good quality opponent and what those players look like. And in 3 years, Jordan Bass is going to look a lot different than he looks right now walking into that stadium. And he'll remember, what it felt like going up and trying to tackle, big Estime, in the hole, or one of those young, talented receivers in the slot on a bubble screen. So every experience is a learning one. And oftentimes, unfortunately, you learn more from a loss than you do from a win. So it's about what you do with it and what you make of it.
Pat, I wanted to mention, it just came out, the schedules in the future.
Yeah.
We're adding some teams and some travel.
Yeah, a lot of travel. I was looking at, Cal's coming to Pittsburgh, heading to SMU and Dallas. Been able to sprinkle some Texas players on the rosters over the years, and it's college football is different now. I was looking at some of the mileage that Cal and Stanford have to travel. 8,800 miles in a season, 7,500 miles in a season. You would have seen Cal Pitt in a bowl game. So there'll be fun experiences to go to places we would not have otherwise gone. They get to come to Pittsburgh, and it's a new world. We're far away from the divisions and the regional stuff. It's a different game now.
I'm certain you don't look at that, Coach. Your focus is all about Saturday.
No question about it. I've looked at a few of the schedules, and I've really got a mocked-up schedule till 2028, I think. They've kind of, we know exactly who we're playing, home and away for the next 7 years, I believe. So, I've looked at it and had to look at it just to kind of give my take to Heather on it when she's meeting down in Charlotte with the ACC.
The starting quarterback of the 2028 game is like going into 8th grade right now, going into 7th grade. If you think about it, you're scheduling games for elementary schoolers. It's but that's where college football is, and it's a wild, fun ride.
We'll be at Acrisure Stadium on Saturday. 3:30 is kickoff. Florida State coming to Pittsburgh, and Pat, always appreciate your input. Coach, he's such an asset to a broadcast team. Billy Hillgrove, 50 years, the experience he has, and when he says, well, that's something I've never seen before, we know it's meaningful. And then you have Pat really filling in the details for us on plays, calls. It's really a lot of fun. Doran Dickerson, Pitt All-American. We got a great team.
We have some fun. We'll see you Saturday, Larry.
All right, partner. Final thoughts with Coach Narduzzi when we come back, presented by Dollar Energy Fund on the Pitt Panthers Radio Network. And final thoughts with Panthers head coach Pat Narduzzi as he gets ready to get his team prepared for Florida State. What has practice been like this week, Coach?
It's like normal. I wish I could tell you it's been something better. We go out every week, focus on fundamentals, focus on what we need to do to win this football game. Worry about us. Sometimes you get caught up in, who you're playing instead of just like, we got to take care of, business. Pitt's got to take care of Pitt. So if we don't take care of our business and what we need to do to win the football game and get caught up on who that guy is or how tall he is or how fast he is, we have problems. So we got to focus on what we do well.
And how have they responded to that message?
It's the same message every week. I think they've responded well. They know what they have to do. They have to go out and execute. We got to do a good job putting in position to make plays, and they got to execute. That's what football teams do.
Coach, good luck against the Seminoles.
Thanks, Larry. Appreciate it.
Coach Pat Narduzzi, and we want to thank everybody involved in making this show and our broadcast a success. Our executive producer is PJ Kamanchik, Amanda Siley King producing here at the Pete, Joel Nelson back at Master Control. Special shout out to Casey Garrow. Always enjoy and appreciate her work, and thanks to EJ Borghetti, who is the Executive Associate Athletic Director and does a terrific job of making sure we're in the know all the time. You've been listening to the Pat Narduzzi Show. Again, we'll be on the air 1:30 with our pregame on the network. Kickoff is at 3:30 from Acrisure Stadium, presented by Dollar Energy Fund on the Pitt Panthers Radio Network.